Chat, how many of y'all have heard about the Ludwig situation that's going on right now? The Mario Kart, he invited a bunch of content creators to like play Mario Kart drunk. Just the craziness that ensued as a result of that. Betty saying me, Afro saying me, Honey Spirits, stuff it about it. Listen, if you're watching the recording this on YouTube and you're not familiar with it, which I doubt if you clicked on this, you probably already are. But basically, Ludwig had one friend in particular that was wilding out. His name is Mango. God bless Mango. Mango was being ultra out of pocket. He's walking around here humping the backs of chairs with female content creators in it, humping the air. Ludwig didn't do much to stop our boy. And you know what the crazy part is? Ludwig and Mango are actually BFFs, or they were, right? Things were so crazy that Mango started blowing like into a breathalyzer. Mango started blowing like I think it was like 0.24, then 0.35 or 0.34, like these crazy numbers that are like 4 or 5 times over like the legal alcohol limit. All that aside, right? That kind of sets the table, sets a picture for you in your mind of what's going on. The issue was Ludwig was goading his boy on. He was cheering him on like, hey, you know what? We're gonna watch a clip in a second. You're gonna see exactly what happened. Ludwig is cheering his boy on, trying to get him to drink more and more and more, and he's having everybody in the room cheer him on. So he's getting positive reinforcement for acting like a dickhead. The crazy thing is, after the internet sees this, the next day they go for Mango and they try to call him out like, bro, like what the hell are you doing? Like you're being a creep. When once again, rightfully so, fair, right? Problem is, in an attempt to save his own ass, Ludwig goes out and says, yeah, bro, I'm distancing myself from Mango. I will not be inviting him to any more events. When I hear that, it's like, Ludwig, you are 50% of the problem. You knew your friend was an alcoholic. You joked about your friend being an alcoholic. And now that it's not popular to be friends with the alcoholic, now you want to back off and be like, oh, well, listen, I'm taking accountability. He won't be around for any more of my events. And you throw your friend under the bus and write him off. Now, I haven't said anything here that you haven't heard from another content creator. What I want to do today is I want to try to analyze this from a different angle than what I've seen all the other content creators analyze it from. Because this is what everybody wants me to do, okay? Everybody wants me to go in here and be like,
man, Ludwig's such a shit human being. He's a terrible person. What a piece of crap. And Mango's a creep. God, I hate both of them. I hope they both die in a game of Minecraft.
I'm not wasting my time with that. Are they both wrong? Absolutely, yes. However, what I want to do is this. I want to use these guys as an example to teach a profound lesson about drinking in the content creation space, because I'm gonna be real, I don't think that this is talked about enough. If you get into any form of entertainment, it could be music, it could be streaming, video games, it could be sports, whatever, alcohol, drugs, sex, that's always gonna be like a huge aspect of it, right? That's always gonna be there. There's always gonna be this entry into vice, right? And it's going to be socially acceptable for you to participate in the vice. The problem is, if you're not careful, and most people aren't, you'll end up getting yourself into some really crappy situations. You make yourself look like a fool. You can lose your career. And also, if you're someone like Mango, you're gonna realize who your real friends are. There are people who I thought were friends of mine that all it took was 1 or 2 or a handful of like really iffy events, some really troubling or some really trying events. And I realized they never really had my back. I had when you go through high school, you'll have a lot of friends like that. And it hurts. It's almost like a breakup, right? Like you be friends with somebody for a year, 2 years, 3 years. You go through some tough shit together. You think that they've got your back, and all of a sudden they do something to turn on you, because being your friend in that moment is not convenient. Even with me being a part of the Fortnite community for as long as I have, and the relationships that I built with people in there, I try to stand by people even when it's not comfortable. When you are anybody of status, right? When you are entering these spaces around people of status, it's very important to keep your wits about you. Discernment is your number one tool when entering the content creation space. And I will say this right now, drinking specifically, well, sex, drugs, rock and roll, all that, let's throw that to the side. The drinking aspect of it, being a social drinker, it is a very dark and slippery slope to fall into. Even in some events that I've been to recently, I've seen how it affects people. Even some creators that I'm somewhat close to or that I know of, right? I see how different they are when they've got alcohol in them. I remember at the Fortnite Pro-Am, there was one particular incident where there were a couple content creators I knew. One content creator, we were all in a room, there was like a few of us, right? One content creator was talking to us. He was talking to the other creator. He's like, bro, wait, you've never been drunk before? And the other content creator's like, nah, bro, that's just like, it's not my thing. I just don't do it. He's like, why? Like, why don't you drink? And he's just like, I don't know. I just never, he's like, well, it's outside of it not being healthy, it's just not for me. This content creator is like he's a super health nut. And the one that was kind of goaded him on, he's like, well, bro, he's like, I think you should just try it once. See, this is how this shit always starts. I think you should just try it once, bro. Like, I mean, I cannot imagine going through life just like never having the experience of getting drunk. This is a concept. This is a concept that you learn in like Christian theology called the deception of sin, right? Where sin always looks alluring. Vices, right? And we can take the religious aspect out of it, right? The deception of vice is always going to be there. It's always going to look alluring to be part of the cool kids, be part of the popular crowd, and to always want to fit in, right? Especially for people that are socially awkward or that struggle with, social anxiety. Alcohol is a really powerful crutch. Give y'all a bit of backstory. So when I was younger, and it's crazy to think about this now, but like at 14, 15, 16, there were a bunch of kids that were going out getting drunk, drinking, acting a damn fool, right? And there are a lot of people that would do, like, we call it pre-gaming, right? You pre-game before the party, because at the mixers, the high school mixers, like, you can't go in with alcohol. You're a minor, right? And of course, you got house parties, and people are drinking at the house parties, right? I was never the one to do that. What I did to fit in and to kind of get past my social awkwardness, because I had it. It was being in that environment was very weird, but there was something alluring about it that was fun. And I knew that like I could provide value there and have fun there, but I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to have to rely on like a substance to kind of to give me that extra boost of confidence, right? They call it liquid courage. So what I had to learn how to do was I had to learn how to dance. And it took me several years to figure out how to dance, right? I remember I had girls laughing at me just when I was like learning. Like I had friends that were trying to teach me how to do like the reject, but back in talking 2009, 2010. I'm trying to learn how to cat daddy and Dougie, all these dance moves, right? And I was trash at every single one. I got pulled out of dance circles, people laughing out at me, social media, all that. Never once took a sip of anything. By the time I turned 21, I'd actually gotten good at dancing, but two, I also kind of climbed the social ladder in my hometown. So I didn't really need alcohol. I had enough confidence to be, I could now be the person that was starting the dance circle rather than being the guy on the sideline, like waiting to get in. When I turned 21, I had some friends that, they're like, bro, you're turning 21, bro, you should get drunk once, man. You can't go through life without let loose. Go ahead, get drunk. And I did. Chat, I drank for about, it was only about a month and a half, right? And I'm not gonna lie to you, that shit was fun. For the first couple, and look, I used to be the person that was like, drinking stupid. I don't see how you could never have fun with that. It's just people are just deluding themselves. That's not true. That is absolutely 100% not true. Drinking is fun in the beginning. See, then I started to just drink just because it was the cool thing to do and everybody else was doing it. And after my birthday, I continued to do it. And then I started getting to these altercations with other people. Like I was hanging around like new people, and those people had their own issues. And so I remember one night in particular, I had this one dude that was hanging out with us, and me and him would get into it from time to time. We got into an argument. And I remember I only had like one drink that night because I was like, you know what? I'm kind of weaning myself off this. Like, I don't really need to drink like that anymore. That's not me. I don't need it. I dance better sober than I do drunk, right? I don't need to drink alcohol. But I remember me and this dude got into it. I'm like, bro, every time you get drunk, you start talking shit. You always say, yo, you're going to get up, you're going to beat my ass, you're going to do this. I said, you're going to sit down there, you're going to talk your shit, you're going to be like, you're going to stay the little bitch that you are, because all you are is a bunch of mouth. You're not going to get up and do shit. If you wanted to fight me, you would have got your ass up by now, but you won't. Sit the fuck down and shut up. Now, he had 3 friends with him, 2 females and another dude. The dude was keeping quiet, but the 2 girls were like,
I thought you had a drink too. Every time you get drunk, you get super aggressive too.
Now, here's the thing. I wasn't drunk. I only had 1 drink, but I didn't like the power that other people had over me because of the perception of me being drunk or me drinking. I was beyond sober at that point, right? But it didn't matter because people's perception of me was starting to change. Alcohol definitely does bring out another side of you. It's still you, but it brings out certain things in you that you didn't know you had, or things that you kind of suppress, right? And it makes it easier for you to do stupid stuff. I noticed that I was getting a lot angrier as a result of me drinking more consistently. But that interaction with those girls and that dude I couldn't stand, that taught me right there, like, you know what? I'm done with this shit. I didn't need it before. I don't need it now. And I stopped. But there was one thing that I did, feel that I did come across, right? There was like, I remember, I think it was the week after I said I wasn't going to drink anymore. I was just walking around the bar, hanging out with my friends. I was about to go dance. And this overwhelming feeling just hit me out of nowhere. And it was like, you need a drink. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what is that? And I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. Like, I think I was like low key, I was slowly becoming an alcoholic and I didn't realize it. But it was in there. And I was like, you know, I already got a problem with eating too much food. The last thing I need to do is like add like alcoholism on top of that, right? Why am I bringing this up? Let's relate it back to the whole Ludwig situation, right? It's the same thing. Like Mango, he's relying upon it. I think Ludwig said it when he was talking to like Senna and Valkyrie. He was talking about like, oh yeah, Mango. He's like, oh yeah, he's an absolute alcoholic. He's had like, he probably say he's had 30,000 beers in his lifetime. He's had 7 today, bro. That's wild, and that's your boy. That's your boy, man. And you're just sitting here letting him act a damn fool, making a fool of himself. And I'm pretty sure I saw this too. One of Ludwig's excuses was that, oh, I was drunk too, homie. That is not an excuse. You have a friend that you know can't handle his liquor, right? Or you know is an alcoholic that acts a damn fool. I guarantee you this is not the first time you've been around where he acts like this. You yourself are throwing a party, you're hosting a party, so there's a certain level of responsibility that comes with that. And now you're not making sure that your guests are being taken care of. And so you're creating this environment where anything like it's a recipe for disaster. Like you're waiting for somebody to get essayed or to, you know, graped or just whatever, right? Like it is like, if you are one of the people in the circle of intoxication, you are at risk. You're more at risk than the person that's keeping their wits about them. Now let's go back real quick. Let's segue back to the Fortnite story that I was telling you about with all those content creators. We were in that room, right? Content creator is trying to go the other one on, right? Like, oh, you should just try it once, like my friends told me. All the way back on my 21st birthday. Just, bro, you should just try. We gotta get you drunk for your 21st. You gotta get you drunk. I stepped in. I was like, bro, listen to me. I said, there is nothing that you are going to miss out on as a result of being drunk. I said, alcohol is a crutch. And you don't need it. Do not go down that slippery slope. Just don't do it. And then once again, the other person's like, well, I don't know. I think you should try it. I think you should try it one time. I'm like, nah. I said, listen, homie. I said, it's your decision to make on whether or not you want to do that or not. But I know you're a dope person, and I just don't think you need that. It's not necessary. And that's the thing, Chad. Like when I go out to these events and I'm around all these other creators, I'm not getting drunk. I try not to even drink at all. I think at the Fortnite prom, I did have one drink because I wanted to taste it. Like they had like a slurp juice cocktail. I was just curious, like, what does this taste like? And it was complete ass. I absolutely hated it, and it made me more tired. It zapped a lot of my strength for dancing. So now I gotta like hype my body back up, get my adrenaline back up, so I can go back out and dance, bro. But it's just like it wore me out. And it wasn't enough to get me drunk. And that's the important thing. But I don't even like anybody seeing me with a drink in my hand unless it's water. If I'm going out, if I'm going to have a good time, it should just be me vibing, enjoying myself, entertaining other people, having good conversations with people, having meaningful conversations with people, networking with other people, dancing. I think that's one of the coolest things about when I go out. It's like I've had people come up to me like, bro, how much you had to drink? I'm like, bro, absolutely nothing, dog. I am sober. They're like, wait, you dance like that sober? I have friends that are dancers that can't dance sober. They have to drink before they go out. That it is like, and the crazy thing is they're such good dancers too. Like it's such a bad crutch, man. And I feel bad for people that get caught up in that loop. But look, I'm not here to point fingers and just to try to make, like I said from the beginning, I'm not here to like be like, oh, Ludwig's a terrible person and Mango's a terrible person. Was that inappropriate and out of hand? Absolutely. And I even put a little bit more on Ludwig because of how he handled the situation. But this is the second half to this that I wanted to talk about, which is that like in the content creation space, there's so many phony ass people. There are so many people, like even within like the Fortnite world, there are things that have happened behind the scenes that we just don't talk about because it would just stir up too much crap. But I want you to know, like your favorite content creators, some of these people that you idolize they're not the best people behind the scenes, man. It's just that sometimes you get that peek behind the curtain. Sometimes some of those content creators will step outside of the curtain. You'll see little things. Getting outside of the Fortnite space, when you're looking at like the broader internet, your Mizkifs, your Ludwigs, your Hassans, right? Like all like those guys, it's a different level. Like the content creation space is in many ways, it's like a mini Hollywood, bro. And once you're in, you know? But one wrong move and you're out. You got to be careful about the people that you talk to, the girls that you flirt with, the guys that you flirt with, who you decide to date, you know, who you're in a relationship with, who you're telling certain things to. But when it comes to this, who you're drinking around, you know, your discernment skills are completely blown out the window when you start taking on alcohol. If you want to get the most out of your experience as a content creator, when you're in social events and social settings, stay sober and figure out a different thing that you can do to be the life of the party or to socialize with people. You don't even have to be the life of the party, right? But to socialize with people. To figure out some like a talent or some ability, something that you have within you that is good that you can present to the world in those spaces. It makes you stand out more. People remember you because you're not being a part of the crowd and drinking and doing everything with everybody else. Your closest friends are the ones that are going to check you when you're doing something stupid. Your closest friends are the ones that are going to stop you from acting a damn fool, right? And your closest friends are the one like you want to hang around people that are going to have certain checks and balances in place. Like this Ludwig situation hits deep because like I used to live with an alcoholic. I had a roommate that was an alcoholic. By the time I left, he had actually beat his battle with alcohol. Right? He stopped drinking. But for the first year, that when I started making content for you guys on stream, the thing that I didn't tell y'all, like the thing like was that like there was a lot of crazy shit that was happening behind the scenes at my house because I was living with somebody that was fighting alcohol addiction. It cost him his relationship with his kids, with his baby moms, with other friends. He was bringing bad people around the house, people like shady ass people around the house. There was one time, this one dude that he kept hanging out with, I had to have a conversation with him like, bro, you gotta go. Like my homie does not need to hang out with you. He's trying to fight this. He's trying to beat this. And you actively, like if he's going to get away from alcohol, he doesn't need to be around somebody that's goading him on to drink more. And this is, I guess, on the off chance that Mango ever sees this, brother, I know that you got put into a really tough position and you got a lot of things taken away from you, a lot of sponsorships and opportunities and things that were removed from you. You lost a lot, man. But I honestly think you need to hang around a different crew of people, because when you are a struggling alcoholic and you're around other people that like to drink, you're not going to be able to beat it. You have to separate yourself from those people. I don't know. I wish the best for Ludwig. I wish the best for Mango. But like I said, everybody should use this as a lesson to be aware of the dangers of the content creation space, man. Substance abuse, that's a big one. And it's a dark pit if you fall into it.